Hello everyone, it's the Healthy Diva here, and I'm here with Judy Wallace, the tenant rep for the Firgrove Community Garden. And today we were out, it's Halloween Day, October the 31st, and today we were out with Judy, puttering around in the garden, closing up the garden and getting the garden ready. We've got a beautiful representation of some of the wonderful things that we found in the garden. We've got some collard greens and some peppers and some green tomatoes that are still popping up, and some parsley and some celery and a lot of other wonderful things. Judy, can you tell us what we did today and what we can look forward to next year in the garden?
All right, well today we were out planting garlic. We're planting garlic, planting flower bulbs, tulips and daffodils and so forth. These items will grow and cultivate during the winter and pop up next year when we're ready to enter back into gardening. So today was a sort of closing the garden celebration and just preparing our winter garden, so to say.
So the garlic that you planted today, are we going to be able to see that that's going to survive through the winter, and then we're going to have that coming up in the spring as garlic scapes and then garlic bulbs coming up next summer?
That's right. The garlic is going to cultivate during the winter. It's going to survive the winter. We've put down compost, and we put down hay and straw to keep that flower bed warm over the winter, to protect that from squirrels digging it up and so forth. And in the spring, we're going to see that garlic shoot up. It's going to form a stem that we cut back, and then when we cut that back, it's going to make that garlic bulb stronger, to make a bigger, stronger garlic bulb that we could pick in the summer.
So did you guys eat a lot of the vegetables from the garden? I noticed that we do have this beautiful array here. Mm-hmm. Did you guys get a lot of veggies from the garden this summer?
We got so much from the garden. One of the great items that we got was the zucchini. And we picked, the zucchini grew humongous. It was humongous zucchini. I was able to learn different recipes to use zucchini. We have collard greens, which is one of the greens that we were able to have.
I thought I saw some Swiss chard as well.
Swiss chard, wonderful, beautiful, bright green Swiss chard. We have celery, parsley, basil, peppers, tomatoes.
And speaking of basil, I was also able to pick some thyme, which we don't have in the basket there. Mm-hmm. But I also noticed that you planted some sage today. What was that?
Sage. Well, the sage was interesting because we've planted it fresh from it was a transplant from another garden. That is a plant that we could plant now. It will survive over the cold environment right now. We can use the leaves right now to boil to make tea, which is very tasty and very beneficial. And that plant, once it dies down, it will stay in the soil and it will come back in the spring. So that was a really good thing that we planted today.
So speaking of the spring, Judy, you and I were talking a little bit earlier about one of the things that you had wanted. You were suggesting possibly that they may build a gazebo. It's still in the works for 2011, but you were saying that now that you've built the garden, you may actually get some seating and build a nice gazebo near the garden. Can you tell me a little bit about that, or are you still having discussions about that?
Well, right now we're trying to think of ideas of how to improve the garden space, how to make it more inviting, how to make it a space that's safe where people could congregate and socialize in the outdoors. So one of the ideas that I came up was to have some type of gazebo which is shaded, where the seniors could come and sit out, where the youth could come and sit, and the community could just have a safe place to be outside and enjoy the outdoors. So one of the ideas is to connect with one of the high school that's nearby, who has a carpentry department, and have a sort of youth initiative with the garden club, and see if there's something we could do there to build a gazebo, build some flower beds, benches, and it's in the works.
So it sounds like you really have a lot of people in the community that are getting involved with this garden. So because it's something that you just started this year, from what I could see, it was a fair-sized garden, and a lot of the different people have their little areas in the garden. So can anyone come down and help you out, even if they don't live in the community? Can they come down and help out and share in some of the things and really learn about gardening?
Definitely. What I've been finding is that through my work in the garden, I've been networking with many people who are outside of the community who have come to share their knowledge and their skills with us. And I invite that because at the same time I'm learning, they're sharing their skills, we're both growing. So people today, such as Farmer Bob, came over to help us plant garlic seeds. We had Dave, who's a photographer from Canadian Geographic, who's from outside of the community. We had Healthy Diva come and share her skills and knowledge and her enthusiasm with us today. So it was just great to have people from outside of the community helping.
So if other people want to get involved, Judy, how can they reach you?
Oh my goodness, you can contact me on my Facebook, Judy Wallace, Firgrove Tenant Rep on my Facebook. You can contact me by email, judy.wallace027@simpatico.ca. And you can contact me through Toronto Community Housing, Firgrove Community Rep.
So is that Judy Wallace, is that W-A-L-L-A-C-E or W-A-L-A-C-E?
W-A-L-L-A-C-E.
Okay, so you're on Facebook, Judy Wallace. That's how they can find you on Facebook, Judy Wallace?
Judy Wallace on Facebook. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, well, we'll look for the additional installments of this next year, but so far we're just going to take a look at this beautiful basket that you've got here. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, Judy, and we'll look for you on Facebook, and your Facebook will link to all the other information that we can find you at if we can't find you anyplace else, or if we're not on Facebook. Let's just get your email address once more, please.
Sure, it's judy.wallace, W-A-L-L-A-C-E 027@simpatico.ca.
And that's for folks who either have information about how to help with the community garden, if they want to help you with your community garden, and really also learn about gardening, because these are all the things that you said that you did this year, and you're looking forward to doing more of that in 2011.
Definitely.
Okay.
Thank you. And thank you, Healthy Diva.
Thank you so much for taking the time to share your information about gardening with me, Judy. Thank you so much.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.